Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there lived a beautiful princess named Snow White. She had fair skin, ebony hair, and lips as red as a rose. Snow White's stepmother, the evil queen, was jealous of her beauty and would often ask her magic mirror, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" The mirror always replied that Snow White was the fairest in the land, which enraged the queen. Consumed by jealousy, the queen devised a plan to get rid of Snow White. She ordered a huntsman to take Snow White into the forest and kill her. However, when the huntsman saw Snow White's innocence and beauty, he couldn't bring himself to harm her. Instead, he told her to run deep into the forest and never return. Snow White followed his advice and found herself alone in the dark woods. As she wandered, Snow White stumbled upon a small cottage. It belonged to 7 dwarfs who worked in the nearby mines. The dwarfs welcomed her and allowed her to stay with them. In return, Snow White kept their cottage clean and tidy. Meanwhile, the evil queen discovered that Snow White was still alive. Determined to be the fairest in the land, she transformed herself into an old hag and set out to find Snow White. The queen disguised herself and offered Snow White a poisoned apple. Unaware of the queen's true identity, Snow White took a bite and fell into a deep sleep. The dwarves, devastated by Snow White's fate, placed her in a glass coffin. Time passed, and one day, a prince came across the glass coffin in the forest. Enchanted by Snow White's beauty, he kissed her, breaking the curse. Snow White awakened, and the prince declared his love for her. They returned to the kingdom, where Snow White and the prince were married, and they lived happily ever after. As for the evil queen, her wickedness led to her downfall. The story of Snow White teaches youths about the power of kindness, the consequences of jealousy, and the triumph of true love.